What companies have proven that they need to be added to the wall of shame following this pandemic? Here in Paraguay, anyone who arrives from any trip overseas must isolate themselves for 15 days in order to prevent any possible transmission. Only people who reside here can get into the country because all borders are closed and we can't leave our house unless it's urgent. From 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Anyone who is caught violating this mandate will face imprisonment or will have to pay a high fine. The owner of a very posh local travel agency just arrived from a trip and still went to work. When some of her employees told her to go home and isolate herself, she decided to fire all of those who dared telling her that. 10 employees in total. People on Twitter shared this story and it went viral. And now she might go to prison or pay a large sum of money not to go. So yeah, we also know which businesses here were not supporting after everything goes back to normal. It seems to me that the government is handling the situation properly. My school district. We are putting together at-home learning assignments for our students with a bulk of it being done online via Google Classroom and other online learning apps like many other closed down districts. But mine is requiring teachers to come into the building for the regular workday to prepare these lessons when a majority of us could easily work from home. If you want to work from home, then you have to use your sick days. On the first day, about 50 of us were in our poorly ventilated cafeteria, right after the recommendation was no groups of 10. There has been poor communication from our district and campus leadership. None of them returned phone calls or answer emails. Yet the superintendent had time today to send out a weather briefing for our area, where all other schools announced last week they were closing starting this week. Ours waited until Sunday evening. Other schools announced the free meal pickups for kids 18 and under at the same time. Ours didn't start until Wednesday. I could go on, but I feel my blood pressure rising as I'm typing this. A call to your local newspaper may be in order. Also, your union rep. My delivery company refuses to stop in-house deliveries of furniture. My boss said the virus can't live on anything but humans. I crap you not. Did you ask him what air you're supposed to breathe when you walk into these houses, and to touch doorknobs, etc. Optum Health. They have many employees with the capability to work from home, and who do, scheduled, a couple times a month. But they refuse to let anyone do it now, citing potential interruptions to patient care. They're in the freaking healthcare industry, and they don't give a crap. My buddy works for them and the whole location was told to work from home, but the office is open for access if necessary. It's a huge company, so maybe there are nuances and discrepancies. Ticketmaster. I have tickets to see a major artist in Vegas next month and the show got postponed by the venue. Because it wasn't cancelled, just postponed. They refused to refund me $430 for the tickets. I already cancelled my hotel and flights, and I can't reschedule anything because they don't have the new dates yet. I just want my money back. If you paid with a credit card, you should contact them and see if they can help. Any company offering leave contingent on a positive test. There aren't enough tests. They are starting to limit it to critical demographics. If your stay hospital has them at all, this is encouraging people to go to work sick. Not only this, but by the time someone gets a positive test, they have been spreading the virus for 10 days. Menards. They have been price gouging needed items during this pandemic, such as face masks, cleaning and disinfectant supplies, and other items. Here in Michigan, the Attorney General sent a cease and desist letter to them yesterday. They have 9 days left to respond to it, and if they don't, they may be facing legal action. 9 days. What a load of crap. GameStop has refused to close, refused to stop taking trades, has even told employees if the police try to shut them down they should refer them to GameStop's legal department and do not close the store. Has even told employees if the police try to shut them down they should refer them to GameStop's legal department and do not close the store. Yep, see how that turns out. GameStop legal. Any company that receives bailout money and then turns around and gives executive bonuses, not just a wall of shame but should be investigated, money taken and possibly jailed. Definitely jailed. Not a cushy jail either. White collar crime like this crap costs lives. Money being diverted away from addressing the disease, homelessness, lost wages will result in death. Anyone trying to profit from that deserves real jail time comparable to manslaughter. I mean that. I'd actually like to shine a positive light on Home Depot. They gave all full-time workers 80 hours of sick pay and all part-time workers 40 hours of sick pay regardless of how long they've worked there. And if it's not used by the end of the year, they'll get it as a bonus. Home Depot is actually a great company to work for. O'Reilly Auto Parts. I just learned from my cousin today that in order for someone to qualify for the 10 sick days off 2 weeks, they're offering that employee has to have tested positive for the virus or been in contact with someone who has it and placed under mandatory quarantine. The hours taken to recover will be taken out of the employee's sick pay bank. If that employee doesn't have enough sick hours accumulated, O'Reilly will allow the balance to go negative, but they have to pay it back through sick hours accrued in future pay periods. This is from an email to management directly from corporate. This next bit is based on hearsay, but I guess she was also told that O'Reilly has no intention of minimizing store DC operating hours or shutting down until AutoZone does something first. I work at a shop and we are counted as essential because we do tires for the fire marshals. It sucks and it's slow and I'm not making any freaking money, but sometimes we need parts for cars, which is why part stores are still open. It's technically essential, but people shouldn't be freaking driving around anyways. We should have a wall for anti-shame. The ones are trying to make a difference. I am a Canadian in Switzerland and the grocery store across the street, as you take numbers to not overcrowd, has lowered the price of basic things, as well as put most of them at the front door to reduce traffic. Yet, my weed shop in Colorado was doing really well with their changes. Every employee was wearing gloves, hand sanitizers were all around, and they had tape on the floor to mark where people should stand. 6 feet away, people. This may be more on the side of the stock market crash, but frick it. Frick Boeing. They spent $43 billion through 2017 to 2018 on stock buybacks, helping more than double their share price. Then a bunch of their planes started having mechanical failures. A whole bunch of people could have died, and now they're begging for a bailout. Frick 'em. They don't deserve a bailout. Their financial problems are their own making. Amazon Whole Foods. They're doing unpaid sick without an actual diagnosis. Nearly impossible here in Austin. 2 weeks paid sick time for confirmed diagnosis, and asking well workers to donate PTO to sick workers. Not Amazon, but I live in Houston, and my husband's job is basically the same. Self-quarantining right now because our good friend was tested and we had been with her a few days before. We're waiting on her test results to find out if we've been exposed, and they won't even let him use his PTO without a diagnosis. Everyone saying you still have to come into office when it clearly violates social distancing. They're just ruining stuff for everyone. Work for a non-essential company in head office. My team is responsible for opening distributing mail. Company doesn't want us near each other or eating lunch together, yet we sit right beside each other, pass papers to one another and share machines without mandation to sanitize between. WTF. The Florida Dept of Health. Pinellas Cty. Not a company, of course, but that makes it even more tragic. Who are these supposed public servants serving that they are keeping the spring break beaches open? Now they are claiming they are being leaders by closing them next week. I am dumbstruck. I live here too. The fact that Clearwater Beach isn't closing till Monday is absolute insanity and completely reckless. Starbucks. There is no reason for stores to be open, actively spreading the virus. A co-worker of mine has gone to the ER twice due to all the symptoms. Fever, trouble breathing, etc. They confirmed she has a respiratory virus but have not been to confirm corona because they don't have tests. It seems obvious what this is, but because she isn't specifically diagnosed with the coronavirus, our DM sees no reason to quarantine the store and close for a while even though we've all had contact with her. We're planning a call-out strike tomorrow in an effort to close our store, but limited sick leave and catastrophe pay has made people afraid they'll be left with an income if they don't work. I can't say this enough. From a now former shift supervisor. Frick Starbucks. Don't go there. Tank their sales. Make them do the right thing. They are putting profit over partners and it's disgusting. Walgreens. I work at the busiest pharmacy in my state. No hazard pay, no time off. We start cutting hours tomorrow. No protective gear. No extra sanitation supplies. We're essential but just expected to work as per usual. Control and F Walgreens. There it is. I knew I could count on you. Messed up by all accounts. Also, it's becoming desperately clear that some sort of regulation is needed for companies to keep a reserve of at the very least month's pay for all employees. This pandemic will end messed up. Any stores that impose limits on items like baby wipes and TP, but don't enforce them, that crap is gonna be abused so much unless someone enforces it somehow. Probably already is. Limits do jack crap if they aren't enforced. Take notes, stores. I work at Kroger and I jump at the opportunity to tell customers they can't buy that much whatever the frick. Icon Pass isn't refunding or transferring unused ski passes despite 100% of their resorts being shut down. Thousands of people are out $700 plus for a ski pass they can't use due to the state mandated shutdowns. Meanwhile, Southwest let us cancel flights and Airbnb is offering 100% refunds. Same with Vail Resorts. Cruise lines. They purposely register in countries that provide tax shelters, pay foreign workers crap wages, make money hand over fist, pollute our oceans, screw over small island nations, and are now asking for government bailouts to prop up their cancerous industry. If the conditions of a bailout of American-owned cruise lines included a requirement that all ships from all subsidiaries be registered in the US and all crews governed under US labor and environmental laws, I'd be chill with it, as it'd actually help people and the world. TJ Maxx. There is nothing essential about this place. It's a breeding grounds for germs on the best day. It's 100% greed that's keeping that store open in a time like this. They have no respect for their employees at all. At least they were called out by name in a NY Times article today. Hopefully PR pressure will get them to finally do the right thing. I bet they are going. But we sell food as an excuse. Like what people need right now are random jars of spices and gummy bears. Most beauty companies. If anyone should have shuttered their doors early and taken measures, it was this industry. Instead, many are only allowing WFH or closing retail locations due to social media exposure pressure. Many are not paying their employees or forcing them to use PTO vacation days. Many are not paying their freelancers, in an industry that revolves around them. It's opened my eyes to which will continue to have my business after all of this. Hey, on the other side, Ulta and Sephora have both shut their doors, but are paying their employees for at least the first few weeks of this. What happens after that is hazy as of yet. Anti-physical therapy. They are still encouraging patients, even from vulnerable populations, to attend PT apps and not following the precautionary procedures outlined on their website in the slightest. Due to the decrease in patient volume, they are now cutting employees' hours, resulting in removal of medical benefits during a medical pandemic. For a national healthcare company to show such carelessness for their employees' well-being is shameful. I truly hope they will get their crap together and prove me wrong in the next couple days, but I'm not holding my breath. Dunkin' Donuts is going to stay open, but they took out the tables and chairs to seem like they give a crap about the pandemic. The workers are not required to wear gloves and nobody enforces hand washing. I work there and I wear gloves and I wash my hands as often as I can. But trust me, these places are disgusting and everyone's coffee is stirred with the exact same spoon. The workers are usually high school idiots who don't clean anything as much as they should. Just don't go to Dunkin', please. They don't care about your health. I'm not positive if every Dunkin' Donuts is as ragtag and careless as mine is, but from all the locations I've been to worked at, I can safely assume Dunkin' Donuts as a whole is a bad spot to go during the outbreak. 6 car rental. In the middle of a worldwide pandemic and all they are offering is a free reservation date transfer, worth $28 or a voucher equal to the cost of their cancellation fee, that I would still have to pay for. So I've been laid off, vacation scrapped, and the only option I have is to pay more money to them or rebook for a later date that I have no idea if or when I will be able to use. $400 down the drain basically. I will never use their service again and you shouldn't either. TeamViewer. For a company that sells remote desktop software, the irony astounds me. They've never let employees work from home for culture reasons, But even now, when they literally sell a work from home solution, employees can't. Their only office in the Americas is in Clearwater, FL, which is currently a cesspool of careless spring breakers. The president of the company, Finn Foldy, you piece of crap, flew back to the US from Germany right as Trump's travel ban was closing. The next day he forced hundreds of employees to gather in the tiniest possible office with him for an all-hands company meeting just to tell them that they can't work from home. What a slap in the face that is. I don't work there anymore, but I would have quit on the spot if I did, and I feel sorry for the people still there that don't have that option. How about the airlines? They just finished making $45 billion in profits over the last 5 years, largely on bogus bag fees, and spent all of it on stock buybacks for their CEOs. Now they immediately have their hands out for a bailout to pay their CEOs bonuses. Probably. Get fricked. This is going to get buried, but Regis Corporation. They're a huge company that owns countless different chains of hair salons, and they absolutely refuse to close down during this pandemic. Every other local salon has been closed for days because it's impossible for hairdressers and barbers to avoid close physical contact. If they have a client with COVID-19, they will almost certainly get it. My girlfriend works at one of their salons and was told today in no uncertain terms that they will not close unless directly ordered by the government. Despite recommendations from the government for any businesses involving close contact to close, they aren't even making any money because most people have the common sense not to get their hair done. But frick looking after the health of your employees, right? This makes me sick. I went to school for cosmetology, but I quit. Beauty school dropout, LOL. I know how up close and personal this profession is for cosmetologists. Just, no way should they be forced to carry on like usual right now. Amazon giving unpaid sick leave while demanding overtime, and the owner being the richest person on the planet, or close to it. Someone said cheaper than dirt are price gouging, but I haven't bothered to find out for sure. McMenamins in Oregon. Big chain of really cool restaurants and hotels. They laid off everyone that had worked there less than a year and are not paying any PTO. TBF. Being laid off right now is better than having hours reduced to almost nothing because you can then file for unemployment. Marriott. Saw the post where an employee they laid off filed for unemployment, and when the unemployment office called to confirm, Marriott said he's not laid off. He's on a 0-hour schedule. Local swim school. No refunds for upfront monthly class fees, and laying off 90% of the employees. Double dipping and fishing for sympathy so they can hopefully reopen when this is all over. Hilton. Laid off employees offered no compensation. We have been told to file for unemployment and were given a list of local food banks. Same situation here in Carolina. 26-year service industry worker. I personally was told we'd be given 2 weeks sick pay less than 24 hours before being laid off. Was given the same list. Terrible times are upon us. Target. They are late to everything that other stores are doing, like paid time off, lower for health, closing early, aren't paying their employees more money for working in potentially hazardous environments. Oh, and they are making Q4 revenue in Q1, and I checked my store sales thanks to our in-store app and we are over 10% of our yearly goal and even more for monthly. They are only now closing changing rooms, but people can still return clothes despite being potentially infected. Their shopping hour for those at risk is a joke and just them telling us to tell customers that this hour is for those at risk while letting them shop. Oh, and employees are given no time to stock up before the masses get the items they are literally putting on shelves. In order to get paid sick leave, which you typically don't get as a floor worker, you need to prove you have corona with a doctor's note. Which good luck getting a doctor's note with the rest of America along with a test kit. The funniest and weirdest part of all this is that the goddamn Facebook is actually treating its employees well. Out of all the companies, the one that's most likely to sell your info to some Russian guys is the one who is giving their employees $1,000 and a whole bunch of other bonuses. Helps to have billions in the bank and an entirely online revenue stream. Pretty much most of the hospitals in the US, there's information out that they lobby with the CDC to lower the requirement for personal protective equipment for us nurses. By lowering the requirement, it takes the liability off of the hospital when we get sick, die from this, because we did everything we could. We followed CDC guidelines. I'm worried that this will become the standard even after the pandemic. It is an absolute embarrassing shit show what we are being asked to do. New policy, etc. My ex-boyfriend works for Bank of America and says they're still calling people over credit card debt. His particular call center may be closing because an employee passed out today, although according to my ex-boyfriend it could be from too much nose candy. There is a certain Canadian Tire location I used to work at and they have taken no measures to combat COVID-19 at all. I have some friends who still work there and they said that employees had to buy sanitizer for work as it wasn't supplied to them. Frick that place. Nordstrom. They have closed all their physical stores and given those employees paid leave and benefits but left the warehouses open where thousands of people come to work all day. We sell high-end luxury products. There is no reason for us to be working right now. Trader Joe's has been awesome to their employees and having people enter the store metered to avoid overcrowding. I'll be going there over Whole Foods going forward. Took way too fricking long for huge stores to ration items. Our little savers did it almost instantly with Lou Roll. Sainsbury's only just started yesterday afternoon. Woolworths and Coles in Australia for profiteering like mad off the panic buying, encouraging people to congregate in the shops hunting essential products when they should be social distancing, and not plowing money into the extra logistics needed to restock the shelves faster. Pay more effing truck drivers, dudes. They both suspended online shopping and deliveries as well, which flies against all reason. CVS for sure. They're not protecting their employees at all, expecting the same hours staff to be able to get 1,300 prescriptions done a day versus the typical 800. No PPE, all while corporate sits their butt at home on conference calls pushing for more immunizations. Menards. I'm so disappointed, because I love Menards, but they literally jacked up the prices of their cleaning supplies. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.